Hey folks, Duker Daz here. Welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a while, but hey, I'm here, you're here. Let's get right to this. So today's topic is going to be about Martin Luther King in honor of Black History Month. And I'm not going to talk about Martin Luther King, the civil rights leader. I want to talk about Martin Luther King, the man of God, and his words of love. And you know, uh, when I started researching, I should say I've been thinking about this topic for a while. It's been really rolling in my head for quite some time. But when I started researching it, Dr. Martin Luther King's sermons and speeches, he didn't really, especially when it came to his speeches, he didn't want to get too religious. So finding, you know, any kind of excerpt that talked about, brotherly love, loving your neighbor, loving your enemy, those type of sentiments, could not find those. Not in the way you'd think that you would find them. And he didn't want to get too preachy in his sermon, so I was only able to find two excerpts from his I Have a Dream speech where he kind of hints at that, without getting too preachy. And I'm going to read those here in a minute. But before I do, I've got some statistics in relation to the Bible that I want to share with you. The word love is mentioned in the Bible 310 times. The word hate is mentioned 87 times. Now, those two emotions are extremes of each other. One is easy to go to, the other is hard to go to. And the one that's easy to go to is hate. It's very easy to hate. And it comes from a place of misunderstanding that I feel. I think we fail to communicate with each other enough and learn to understand each other. And therefore we choose to hate rather than understand and love one another. And I think it's very sad that we don't do that. That we need to do that more of that is to love one another. But love is a very hard emotion, and not in the sense that, it's easy to love as far as showing the emotion, but to make it last requires trust and understanding of one another. And if we fail to do that, it's very hard to love. And like if someone hurts us, we don't want to love again because we don't want to be hurt again. So it's easier to go to hate because of that reason, or to shy away from love because of that. Well, I'm gonna mention the two excerpts from Dr. Martin Luther King's speech, and then I'm going to relate it to the Bible. And that way, maybe we'll have a better understanding of not only Dr. King, the man of God, but where the source of his speeches came from, as far as the sentiment he was trying to put forth without so much, getting again too preachy. So this is taken from the I Have a Dream speech, which was given on August 28, 1963, in front of the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. And the first excerpt goes like this. I have a dream that one day, down in Alabama, with its vicious racists, with the governor having lips dripping with interposition and nullification, and that one day, right down in Alabama, little black boys and little black girls will be able to join in hands with little white boys and little white girls as brothers and sisters. And The other one I want to read, I have to get off my phone because I forgot to write the darn thing down. Um, and it's toward the end of the speech when he says this. And when this happens, and when we allow freedom to ring, when we let it ring from every village and every hamlet, from every state and every city, we will be able to speed up the day when all God's children, black men and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics, will be able to join hands in singing the words of the old Negro spiritual, free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, we are free at last. Now, in order for that to happen, we need to learn to love one another. And in the Bible, it talks about how we should love each other. And I'm going to read from the book of Matthew, 2 verses. And the first one is from the verse or chapter 22, verses 37 through 39. Jesus said unto them, Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, with all thy soul, and with all thy mind. This is the first and great commandment. And the second is that like unto it, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. On these 2 commandments hang all the law and the prophets. I went down to 40. I'm sorry about that. I meant to say 40, but we got it. Okay. Now, that is a commandment in the Bible. We are commanded by God to love one another. And we need to quit allowing people in our world to divide us. And there's even people within the movement who are trying to divide us. And in this woke culture that we're in, I believe that they're misguided in their thinking that in order for us to get to the place where Martin Luther King is at, that we have to separate ourselves even more, that we have to have our own channels, our own businesses, our own, that kind of thing. And that's not where we should be. We should be coming together, doing things together, and loving one another and having great understanding of each other. And even those that we have issues with, that we're enemies with, we should be loving those as well. In fact, the Bible commands that as well. If you go to the Matthew chapter 5, verse 44, he said, okay, well, I'm going to back it up. I'm going to go up to 43. Okay, it says, Ye have heard that it hath been said, Thou shalt love thy neighbor and hate thine enemy. But I say unto you, love your enemies, bless them that curse you, do good to them that hate you, and pray for them, which despitefully use you and persecute you. Now I'm going to go down to 45. That ye may be the children of your Father, which is in heaven, for he maketh the sun to rise, and the evil and on the good, and sendeth rain on just and on unjust. So, he commands us to love our neighbors as well, because if you think about it, at the end of the day, we all put our pants on one leg at a time. We're all the same. There's really not that, we're not that far from each other when it comes to understanding. We all want to just live our lives. We want to prosper. We want to do good. And that's not a normal human That's what it means to be human. We want to just live and thrive, live our lives. So, you know, Dr. King was trying to get us to see that we're not so different. Just because our skin color is different doesn't mean on the inside that we're different. We are very much the same. And that we should try to be more like that. And that maybe we can come to enough understanding to where we could forget everything in the past, the slavery, all that, and build a new future. But in order to do that, we have to obey God's commandment, and that is to love our neighbor as ourselves, and also to love our enemies, regardless of what they've done to us. Because again, they're just like us. So, folks, I hope you take what I said to heart. And I thank you for coming back to watch another video of mine. If you have a comment, please do so. Please subscribe to my channel and hit that like button. And also, if you know of any other excerpts where Dr. King talks about brotherly love, loving your neighbor or your enemy for that matter, please leave it down in the comment section, because I really did. I hunted and I could not find anything. So please leave that down in the comment section. Well, folks, do good and deuces. Bye bye.